and I just go in and then sort of carve out just to add a little bit more softness in there. Hey everyone, so on today's video what we're going to do is going to jump on the brand new trend, which is the cub cut, but a request that someone has asked is how would we take a standard haircut like a bob to a bang up to date, bang on trend haircut like the cub cut. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be taking this from a standard like one length bob into something a little bit more layered, a little bit more textured, but that's bang on trend and is similar to the cub cut. So I'll just wet the hair down. What we're going to be working with today is pivoting sections. So we'll be pivoting from here, pivoting till we get horizontal or vertical, depending on where you're going to be working from, working through there. And then we're going to pivot through the back as well to link it all up. So you've got a lot of layers, a lot of texture, a lot of movement, but you're still going to maintain a lot of the length. So I'll jump onto the sectioning so I can show you exactly how I'm going to section it. Very, very simple, but I'll show you how we're going to work through the haircut. So sectioning, what we're going to be doing is, again, we're going to be working a simple hot cross bun section straight through the head. We'll be taking our guide from that middle section there, but then we're going to be working from this central point here, we'll be working through the head like that in sections. And then when we come to the back, we're still going to be working through that point there. And we'll be just pivoting around that head until we get horizontal. So these are the sections we'll be working with through there. And all it is it will go, it got pivot round, pivot round, pivot round from that central point there. And then we should link up those there to make sure that it's all the same all the way around. We're going to start at this front because we're going to start putting in like fringe bangs area, but sectioning pattern, simple hot cross bun, you'd have seen it in many videos. We want to be coming from high point of the head to just behind the ear, and then we want a central back section. Very, very simple sectioning pattern. I like to keep it very, very simple. And then through that middle there. Gives us a nice section through there. So you can see there, there, and then back to the front. Now what we want to do, let's just section out the backs sections. Now we want to get a guide through this middle. So I'm taking a slither either side of that middle parting. And because there's already a bit of a fringe, but I want to be going shorter. So, just to show you the angle we're going to go. Taking an inch off, so that's going to sit just on the bridge of the nose. And we're going to cut straight up there. So we've got that guide now. Now what we do, there's our guide. We're going to come slightly off, pivoting round from that top high point. And then we're going to be using a moving guide. The guide we just cut is going to move over to that section we've just pulled up, just so we can see through there. So that is now there rather than there. And now that first guide, we forget about it. We can even push it into that side because we'll be wanting the guide from there. So now I've brought that second section that I've just cut over into the third section. And we're going straight up there. So it gives us a nice shattered soft fringe. That second section we cut, we forget about that, but we're still keeping that top piece that we're pivoting all the way from. So now that third section we cut is now our guide, and we're bringing that over into this fourth section. I can see that there. Now look at how much length we're taking off now. This is going to give that really nice cub cut, wolf cut sort of face frame through there. And then that is it. Simply, we forget about that third section, was it? We bring our fourth section into our new section, and we are nearly horizontal to where we started. So if we have a look where we are now, we're still on a little bit of an angle, but there's our last section, which will come straight out from the head. So we're just bringing that up, find our guide, which is there. And now we bring that last piece that we just cut up into the side. Same finger angle, there's our guide, through there. So what that gives us now, kept a lot of the length, like I said, but we've got a lot more texture that's all built in and layering that's built in through there. So we're going to be doing that same on this side. So we've already got our guide, because that was our first section that we took. So then we're going to pivot, and I'm going to push that first guide that we took over into that second section. Find my finger angle, find my guide. There. Take that new cut, push the old one into there, and then let's pivot round into here. Pick up the old, well, the piece we just cut. We push that over into that section. So find it, there it is. We forget about that one. We're still pivoting from that top point. Bring up a new section with our newly cut guide. Find the angle. We find our guide. Forget about that previous cut. Find that previous. So there's that frontal cut. We're going to do exactly the same through the back, just pivoting around. We've got a guide, which is here. So what we're going to do, pull this out. We want to get a centre back slither either side of that part. Let's find our guide. But now we're going to put in a guide of our own for this back section. So I can see my guide there. I'm working with a similar angle with my fingers. I couldn't pick it all up, so I'm going in there. If there's any hair, tiny bit. So now, let's get rid of that. We'll be working around the head again, so pivoting around. So we were there, until we get horizontal of where we've started. Push our guide up into that section as we pivot. We find our guide. Forget that. Grab our new piece we've just cut. Push the new guide over into that point. Forget about that. We pivot. Find our guide and our finger angle. And now we are horizontal to where we were and incorporating that front into there. And there's the connection. We do exactly the same on the other side. So there's our front guide layers, and as you come into the back, they're exactly the same, maintaining that length. And there is literally dust just on those bottom. They don't even really reach because of the length of the bob. So now we want to find that middle section guide again, which is there. And we want to pivot and bring that over into it. So there's the guide there. Same finger angle. Forget about the first one. Bring in our new section. Bring over our new guide as we pivot round. And as well, I can already tell that I don't need to take any of this, because when I'm bringing it to there, there's no hair to cut below that. So I know that that length, look, just tiny bit. Doesn't even reach through there. So forget, we get our new guide and our new section. We pull our new section, we pull our guide to our new section, sorry. We find it. Look, doesn't even reach. And then now we're horizontal to where we started. And that is it. That's a pivoting moving guide layer. What's nice about it is you've got a true guide that's just working all the way through the haircut. Let's turn her that way. But we're not over directing anywhere. So it means that we're going to be taking off length all the way, or yeah, we're going to be taking off length, not necessarily from here, but length off of the layers all the way around. If we over directed up to there, we'd have maintained a lot of it here, and you wouldn't have got this texture built into this haircut otherwise doing the over direction, which is why we've pivoted. So I'm going to get this dry so you can just see it, and then we'll just personalise the edges. So the colour lends itself very well with this haircut because you've got so much texture and depth that's built in here. I think this was a colour I did for Joico live takeover, but it was just to add loads of depth and dimension, and I think this lends itself, like I said, so well to these types of haircuts because you keep a lot of the density and the depth through there. Same with the back. You've got that sort of, was it a kale? Is that what it was a few years ago? The tortoise shell, where you've got a load of different textures and tones running through there. That wasn't this look. I can't remember what this look was, if I'm honest. But I just love how you've got all that texture and dimension and depth and everything that's running through. And then those shorter layers up there gives it that sort of wolf cut, cub cut vibe. So you've got all that density and weight through there. And then so what I'll do is I'll just refine it a little bit, but I think it looks pretty cool. So you can see we've kept the length completely. We could get rid of that if we wanted, but if somebody wanted a bit more length around the face, we know we're going to keep that. You've got all this texture that's built in through here. You've got that beautiful little sort of textured fringe, a load of sort of weight overhanging, gives us that wolf cut vibe. But with it being shorter, bang on trend would be in the cub cut. But what happens is when we take our layers the way we did, it just compresses through there, so you get a much flatter shape. But you can just manipulate it with your fingers and thumbs, just moving it, because there is so much built-in texture in there and weight. You can really just get that to sit how you want. But yeah, I think it looks super cool. And bang on trend would be in the cub cut. So what I'll do for refining, I'll get my Evos scissors, and then where we worked, so you can see when I brush it forward, we've got a lot of weight through there. So how we pivoted through, I'll just pick up, and then I'd still work around the pivot, and I'll just go in and then sort of carve out just to add a little bit more softness in there. And with the fringe, what we could do, many ways in which we could cut it. I mean, I actually really like that. I don't think I'd do anything with that if I was honest. I really like the weight that's kept in there. I like these overhanging pieces that are coming in, and I really love that length. Yeah, to be honest, that is how I would keep it. Just deep point cutting in. Again, with my Evos, I know I'm not going to remove loads of length. Just taking off and softening off that baseline. But if we wanted to keep it a nice strong baseline, leave it as that. But that is it. That is how to layer a bob to bring it bang up to date, on trend for the cub cut. Or if you're looking at doing a cub cut, that's how I would do a cub cut in salon, with a pivoting section all the way around, keeping that fringe nice and long, but really going up into here, creating that layer and texture, but keeping the length because we're pivoting round. If you enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments down below. As always, hit the thumbs up button and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next video.